Typically, when you join a new brokerage firm, it doesn't always go that way.
right?
We've had a great year and we joined EXP, so we're excited.
I love that. When everybody is talking about doom and gloom and going backwards.
And I'm sure nobody watches the stock price other than me, but the last 2 days have been kind of nice. Nice jumps in the XBI stock.
Yeah, I saw that. That's nice. How about interest rates?
Yeah,
That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Good news.
very good news.
Great news. Lost Riley.
I think she's coming back.
Bill, where are you out of?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
am from North Carolina. I'm currently in Austin as of right now. And so I got to spend a little time checking out Austin, Texas last night for the first time. I'd never been there. So it was exciting. We had fun.
What part of North Carolina?
I'm Greensboro and Winston-Salem, so Piedmont Triads north of Charlotte.
Gotcha.
You're coming
Yeah.
to Atlanta in January, aren't you?
I believe I am. Yeah, January 16th or 19th or something like that. Yeah, I'll be in Atlanta.
Okay, so wherever Phil is going, go to his session. So when he's in Atlanta, y'all go to where he is. We brought in Phil real quick and we'll get into what we're doing today. Phil and I've gotten to know each other and he's our people. He has so much knowledge and value that he literally opens up his playbook and he's dumbing it down. If Elizabeth Riley can understand it, like we're doing something right. So, we do the AHAs, agents helping agents. We do the events all the time. I talked to Phil a while ago because he and I were at the Detroit rally together. I said, Phil, come to Austin. And he said, I've never been to Austin. I was like, well, come to Austin. We had a packed room. It was standing room only, so much value. And then he stayed in Austin for a few days. So last night we took him dive bar, Christmas holiday hopping in Austin, Texas. It was quite the adventure.
It was a good time. A good time.
It was a good time. Anyway. All right. Well, happy Friday. Happy December 15th. Y'all, 2 weeks left of the year. I love that you guys are all here, even though a lot of us are limping to the finish line. I was just telling Tony that all my kids are in finals and they're all different schedules. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who's on first this week? So I'm excited that you guys are here because that means we are plugging in, getting ready for the new year. 2024 has so much in store and I'm excited that for what's to come. So today I have Tony as our guest. We're in for a treat. Tony is a coach with ReThink Coaching. He works with a lot of the top producers around the country. You guys might know somebody named Gene Frederick. He comes in and he coaches a lot of Gene's organization, and I've gotten to know him because of that. So Tony and I were talking the other day about just big goals and big things for 2024. And we talk about how success is looking different for all of us. And we all have things we want to accomplish personal and business. And I said, Tony, come in and just pour into our group, show us what you're all about. And so I'm excited to have him as our guest. So Tony, welcome to the crew. This is the tribe. We're a little bit, we're a little bit shy. Camera's on. He loves participation. I'll let him run the meeting, but and there's just a few of us on this morning. So Tony, thank you for being here, being our guest. I'm going to let you take it from here.
Hey, thanks,
And
Elizabeth.
I will give you share screen if you need it as well.
Yeah, I do, if you don't mind, just love
Got
that share. So,
Got
hey
it.
guys, thanks so much. I know it's kind of winding down end of year, and Elizabeth and I were talking before the call. It's kind of the race to the finish that happens every year. And I always laugh. I'm like, well, we know it's the end of the year on January. What the end of year is going to be, why is it so shocking? But here we are. So today I wanted to spend some time going over two models that you guys can incorporate into your business, into your life, that can really help you achieve different levels of success, or do it in a way that you maybe aren't as frustrated or feeling a level of stress or burnout. So does that sound okay if we do something that will help you bust through maybe some barriers that you've had in the past and have you do it in a way that's healthy? Is that cool?
Good.
Awesome. All right. So as Elizabeth said, I'm a coach with ReThink Coaching. So I'm one of the co-founders of the company. And what makes us different at ReThink is we coach to the whole person, meaning, you can look through the lens of business 100% of the time and focus on numbers, 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 and actions, or you can also look into the machine that's driving the business, the person, which is what we do. So we marry those two things together. And what I want to do today is talk about some of the fundamental tools that we use in our one-on-one coaching and our group programs that have helped agents have some breakthroughs. So we're going to talk about two models that impact mindset and thoughts that you can, again, incorporate both into your business and into your life. And I want to start with this. 60,000 thoughts a day. Who can even imagine that we have 60,000 thoughts a day? That's the average number of thoughts you have a day. So that's that 24-hour time period that we're alive. So it's both conscious and unconscious thoughts. On average, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Now, here's the fascinating part about this, I guess you could say. When we look at those thoughts, 80% of them are negative. That's just how it works. And so if you think about that statistic, I know we're great at multiplying 3% times anything, but if you look at, that we have 60,000 thoughts a day with 80,000 or 80% being negative, that's a lot of negative thoughts. Who did the math? How many negative thoughts a day are we having?
48,000.
You got it. Approximately 48,000 negative thoughts a day. So I want you to just pause for a moment and think about someone that you love or someone that you work with. And if you followed them around for 24 hours and while they were sleeping, spoke into their ear 48,000 negative thoughts, do you think it would impact how they show up?
Yes. Yep.
100%. And it's impacting how you show up. And here's the other part of it. 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. So if you just think about this one piece, that we're walking around these storytelling machines that are creating 60,000 thoughts a day with 48,000 of them being negative and 95% of them being repetitive, do you think that we have an opportunity to potentially create some strategies onto how we can have a healthier mindset and healthier thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here to do today, is just to talk about it. So, I think I joke around with my clients that 2023 was a bit similar to playing that carnival game, whack-a-mole. We had a lot of stuff come up constantly at us that we were having to figure out in the moment that it was approaching us. And we were also bombarded by a lot of news and conversation about our industry and our market. And those are external circumstances, but those still play a big part in how you approach your day and how you approach what you're going to do. So if you think about 2023, right, we had interest rates, we had low supply, we had somewhat limited inventory, we had sellers staying in their homes for longer than they have in the past and maybe not listing. And then we had this little thing called a lawsuit that was out there for our industry. So there was a lot of stuff that if you allow it to seep in and don't use some tools to block it out or to reframe it, that could have had an impact on how you showed up and if you were able to achieve your goal in business and in life. So the model has been around, you guys. This is not a model that I've created. A lot of you have probably seen it. I just want us to look at it through a different lens today. So I'm going to share screen, Elizabeth, and show you, if I can find it. And some of you are going to recognize this right away. This is the thought flow. All right. So this is what happens. A circumstance happens. Usually it's external. Something happens, creates a thought, right? That thought produces a feeling or emotion. That feeling and emotion generates action or inaction, and that causes a result. This is how the world works. All right. So this is how you function. This is how I function. This is how great ideas are brought to life, from a pen to a laptop to the car you drive, right? Everything starts off as a thought. Now, if we allow the external circumstances, so like what we talked about, interest rates and all of the stuff that we were faced with in 2023, those circumstances can have an impact on your thought. That thought that you have might be negative, and that negative thought is most likely going to impact your feelings or emotions in a negative way. So for example, if you are experiencing, you look at your pipeline report, or you hear a news report about the lawsuit, or about how interest rates are the highest they've been in however many years, and you allow that to create a negative thought. So you may think, you know what, they're right. The market is really tough. No one is buying or selling homes right now. Sellers aren't listed, the stories that we create. And that really is what a thought is. It's a story that your brain has created. So you might go down this path for a moment. No one's buying. My sellers aren't listing. We've got this lawsuit. People aren't going to pay buyer agent commission anymore. Whatever it is has created a story, which then generates a feeling or emotion. That probably is going to be negative. So you might be experiencing frustration, fear, anger. You might be experiencing a few things. Now, when you're in that space, do you think you're going to take action? What is the likelihood that you're going to embrace running towards your lead generation or your activities that you know are going to create leads? We're going to be impacted. We're most likely going to either attempt to do it or show up with some really bad energy that translates to the person that you're having a conversation with, or we're avoiding it altogether because the story is running constantly in your mind about, well, nobody's going to buy anyway, so why should I bother calling? They're not going to list because interest rate that they have is so low, they're not going to list. So it ultimately impacts the action that we take or we don't take, and then clearly the result. That's the model. Now I'm going to teach you how to reframe the thought because that changes everything. But I want to pause here for a minute. What we typically do when we realize we're not achieving our goal or we're not hitting the number is we go to the A line, the action line, and we say, I'll just do more. This week, I'll call 20 more people. This week, I'll do an extra open house. This week, I will do a pop by for my clients. We go into the action line and start to talk about taking more action. And while that is great, the problem with it is we still haven't cleared up the story that we're holding on to. So doing extra action is going to be very short-lived, and you're still approaching it with a negative energy or a negative mindset. So the do more, which is what we typically do, is good. It's not going to be the thing that changes it for you to move forward because you haven't released that old story or that old thought. Questions so far? Anybody have a question or comment? Anybody resembling this at all other than me? That this is
Phil was in here talking at the event the other day. Phil unmic, and he shared this too about what were the two? One was anxiety, one was Phil. What was the other one?
Discouragement, where essentially discouragement is a lack of perceived options. You feel like you don't have any choices. You feel like you can't do anything. You're hopeless, right? Because there's no option or anywhere to go. And then anxiety is the opposite. It's a perceive that you have too many options and you don't know which road to take or what to do, what action to take. And so, yeah, that hits home.
In either case, you do nothing, kind of like what Tony's saying. So
yeah, you freeze up.
Mm-hmm.
Or you show up, but you're not really showing up. You're showing up and going through the motions, and you have a disbelief that you're carrying with you about the possibility of those actions creating a result for you. So this is really key, team, that we just don't hop to action because that's a very temporary fix. We've got to fix the story that your brain has created that is creating the emotion, which is driving the bus. So what can you do to reframe that thought? Because if we're having 60,000 thoughts a day and 80% are negative, chances are you've got a chance of not of having a negative thought. So there's a really simple model, and Phil, I don't know if you talked about this as well. There's a really simple reframe model when you're having a negative or a disempowering thought. And the first thing you're going to want to do is ask yourself, is it true? Now, in the moment of the intensity of where the circumstance is really impacting you, you might say, yeah, it's true. I mean, nobody is buying homes, nobody's selling homes, whatever that thought is that you have. And so you move to the next question. Can you absolutely know that is true? Or is it 100% true? Is that thought 100% true? So if you're holding on thought that nobody's doing anything, I would invite you to open up your MLS and look and dispel that thought that, well, people are doing stuff, right? Houses are listing, houses are selling, people are doing things. And once you do that, what that one question does is it kicks open the door of possibility for you. Because when you're holding on to the thought really tightly that it is true, you've closed off possibility of anything happening. So once you acknowledge that it's not 100% true, you've created the space of possibility for yourself. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, how do I react when I believe that that thought is true? So we might react in terms of, I'm not making my calls, I'm not doing the activities that I know that will bring me a lead or get me to a transaction, or what I'm supposed to do to be moving towards my goal. That's the impact of that old story or that old thought. And here's the really empowering part of this. The next question you want to ask yourself is, who would you be without that thought? Because now that we've dispelled it's not true and we've kind of kicked open that door of possibility for yourself, who do you get to be? Well, I get to be the agent. And I apologize, I don't see on the screen. There's a group that was talking earlier that they've had a better year this year than they had the previous year.
That's the Realm. It's showing under Brad Feynman on the screen, and they're in Atlanta, Georgia.
They're a great example of who you could be when you let go of the thought that the market's bad or the thought that nobody's doing anything. It is possible to achieve success in whatever the market is, and it's all driven by the thoughts that you're holding on to. So from question number 4, I want to be them, right? Who would I get to be without that thought? This is how you're going to create your path forward, because you now know that a different way is possible. So these two things are really critical as we move forward in a better market, a different market, whatever market we're going to have in 2024. I believe it's going to be great. Yet whatever market you're felt with or whatever circumstances you're given, you have control over how you respond to them. And I think that's the biggest gift. One of the exercises that we do with our one-on-one clients is I ask them, what emotion or feeling do you want to experience on the regular? And let's just say, for example, the emotion or feeling that you want to experience is peace. Well, above the feeling and emotion on that chart are thoughts. So can I be strategic and purposeful with my thoughts to create that emotion? You can, 100%. And it becomes a daily exercise. So I love this model for a lot of reasons. It can jolt us out of being in a negative space with a negative story. And it can also help you construct the life that you'd like to live, construct the environment that you would like to have your business exist in. This is really powerful when you get strategic about this and treat this as importantly as any other task that you're creating for yourself in your business. So from your lead generation to lead follow-up to going on appointments, this piece is equally as important, because changing those thoughts and stories is going to dictate the emotion and feeling that you have, which is going to impact actions that you take both in your business and in your life. So this can apply to your health. This can apply to your relationship or the relationship that you want to have. This is an all-encompassing opportunity for you to construct how you want your future to look and feel. And to me, that's probably one of the most empowering things in the world, to know that you can control that space and the story and the narrative that your brain is creating, and have what you really want out of your life and business. So those are the two models. I'm going to open it up for questions, comments, thoughts on it. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are you thinking?
Is there like a daily exercise that you can do to help retrain yourself?
Yeah, great question, Brian. So for myself, team, I journal every day as part of my morning routine, is to spend some time journaling. And then I also do 30-minute minimum to an hour of strategy think time. And at both of those sessions, I spend time with my thoughts. So in my journal, I'll write the thoughts that I would like to have that day based upon I want to experience peace. regardless of what is going on, I want to experience peace. So my thoughts are constructed around that. So you just create the thought you want to have. So I do it through journaling. A couple of my clients use a great app called Think Up. It's a little orange app with, I think it looks like a tree in it. And they record the thoughts that they want to have on it in their own voice with some music in the background. And when you feel yourself slipping into the space of the 80% negative thoughts, they just hit play on that thing, and it's their voice, their music, feeding them the thoughts that they want to hear. So that's what I would do to reframe and control the thought. Does that help?
I can add something. I'm driving, so sorry if y'all can hear, but I have a subconscious coach that I use, and I work in the Joe Dispenza realm. And right now I'm reading his book and working through some stuff, breaking the habit of being you.
Yep.
So I'm happy to, maybe do a book club or something with people like that are in our group, so that we're all together.
Yeah, Vanessa, he's awesome. Dr. Joe Dispenza is amazing. He's got a great story, and the information he provides really is a lot of this, is helping you address your unconscious mind. Because if you sit in silence for even 30 seconds and tell yourself you're not going to think, you're going to think. And it's your unconscious mind is constantly on. It doesn't shut off. And I'm grateful for that, because it's the part that tells us to breathe and our heart to pump. But it also feeds us the thoughts that we have. So if you haven't read or studied Joe Dispenza, he's pretty powerful. Any other questions on how you can use this to change the course of 2024 or enhance the course of 2024?
I like what you're saying, Tony, because I think so many times when we all go to these business planning sessions and these courses, and it's almost, I'm seeing a lot of people be reactive, almost in a panicking type of way. Oh my gosh, it's December, it's 2023. What did I do? Where are my goals? And I like that you're saying you got to take a step back. It's not about, okay, here's my goal. This is how many houses I want to sell. This is, how many trips I want to go on. This is, not all. It doesn't start there. And I think so many of the business planning courses or classes or anything I've seen, it's starting there, right? And so what I like that you're talking about is, and it's a reminder to me because I'm one of those that's always going. I'm spread in 50 million different directions. I do not stop. I do not really take the time. And I found myself in 2023 being extremely reactive. And what you're saying to me is really resonating, because it's like, okay, I've got my journal. I can sit in silence. I can sit in my thoughts and really get that together first. Because when I have all that together, then I don't have to be reactive. Then everything else falls in line the way it's supposed to. So it's a good reminder. And most people aren't saying what you're saying.
Awesome. That you guys team, it really, I started studying, this is part of the neurosciences NLP work that I started studying, decades ago. And you really, if you do the work and you work on your beliefs and your mindset, your life does change. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So, if you implement this in your business, I promise you your life will change. If you implement this in your personal life, I promise you your business will change. It just makes an impact on how you get to show up as a business leader, a spouse, a friend, a kid, whatever role that you're playing. This gets to show up. And if you do have a team, this is a really powerful model for you to introduce to your team members and to work with them to make sure that they are bathing themselves in the right thoughts. So, Elizabeth, that is something that I do daily, journal, thinking, and stuff comes up, guys. Stuff will hit you and you'll all of a sudden have a really crummy thought. And that's when you get the choice to ask yourself the 4 questions. Is it true? 100% true? Who are you with it? Who are you without it? Reframe it and you move on. So it's a good place to say, yeah.
I'm completely opposite. I need to be more reactive, and because I'm mostly in my thoughts, and sometimes I have too many thoughts, and if I don't write some of those thoughts down, I will literally forget them. Like I had to write down what I was about to say now because my mind would have thought 20 thoughts in advance. So I'm opposite. I need to get out of my thought process and just go. I sit in my thoughts too much. And then that's when all the other thoughts start coming and all the what ifs and all that. So what's your suggestion on that?
You know, Julie, a lot of us will hold on to our thoughts are to do in our head, right? We kind of house all the thoughts there. And there's a lot of great juice in those thoughts, as long as they're positive, empowering thoughts. And exactly what you said is what I would do. And you just kind of do a brain dump. Get it all out and get your thoughts out, because then you've got a true list of the things that are important to you, whether you got it. And here's the secret. When you hold all of that in your head, brushing your teeth and calling the $1 million client back hold the same weight of importance, because your brain hasn't shuffled through and sorted out what's really important. So what you are doing is exactly what I would say to do. Dump it out, get it on a piece of paper, and start to prioritize what's truly important. And then start checking stuff off. So you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, or what I would, if you were a client of mine, what I would say to do.
Yeah, Tony, years ago, I read a book called What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. And, you know, it's all about reprogramming, you know, your thought process and, you know, the things that you say to yourself, going back to negative thoughts, how can you reprogram yourself to change those thoughts into positive thoughts?
So are you asking me that, or just
No,
because
I'm saying,
what
you
you're
know,
saying is true?
along the same lines as what you said.
Yes.
It's a great book. And
Yeah.
it really, you know, you're reinforcing, you know, what I read many years ago.
Yeah, it really is true, team. I mean, most of our beliefs are formed by the age of 7. And so we're carrying around a lot of stories from what we've heard other people say. It could be parents, relatives, friends, teachers, whatever. And so, like you're saying, it is the opportunity to reframe and change. And because this is just a really easy tool, but it takes work. So I'm just going to ask that you do yourself a favor over the next couple of weeks before we really launch into in the muck again in 2024, that you really give this some attention. Because I promise you, there's opportunity to change the way that we're thinking, which will impact the result. So yeah, you're 100% right. There's so much work on the power of mindset and thoughts and the impact it has on your overall success. And that's what we're all here to do, is to be successful. And I believe when you create the feelings, emotions, and thoughts that you want to experience, it's a more joyful experience.
One of the things I always talk about too when I'm speaking is finding your board of directors. And that's one of the things, and your board of directors can change all the time, but those are the people that you're surrounding yourself by that are speaking into you truth, right? Not just yes men. We like accountability groups, all these other things. I'm putting myself in different rooms around different people, but having that board of directors to really, when you're having those negative thoughts or when you're having those false narratives, because I talk myself into that stuff a lot too. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, we've got all this great stuff, but, and the but can overshadow everything else. It could be one little tiny thing, but it can be so overwhelming and it seems like it's so much bigger than it really is. And so figuring out in 2024, y'all figure out who your board of directors is. It doesn't have to be, you know, all female, all male. It doesn't have to be people in real estate. I've got a small group of people where if I'm kind of stuck, I can go to them and say, Brad, this is how I'm feeling. Tell me if there's any truth to this. Help me talk through, because sometimes I find that I can't talk myself out of what I'm thinking. And I'm not saying talk myself out of, but I can't see through the negative thoughts. And sometimes you just have to have that outside perspective. And so surrounding yourself with people, showing up at these calls, like we've got so much stuff we're doing and we have so many things we're doing, you know, in the new year, whether it's on in person or it's on Zoom or it's, you know, because you've got a whole bunch of people and states and countries. Tomas, I think, is in Brazil right now. I never know. But like we've got all these people that are showing up here, but just really figuring out who you want to have in your small circle to help you when you're stuck. And that's what has helped me the second half of this year. A little bit more than the first half, and it's what I'm going to really focus on going into 2024.
That's awesome. That's probably some of the best advice, team, is really do get a board of directors, or, you know, who do you allow to have proximity to you? Because that's going to help you break through and help you move forward. It's, you know, you become the sum of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. But I really believe it's more about the 5 people who are the most influential in your life. And so that's exactly what Elizabeth has done. She surrounded herself with people that help her and can influence the direction that she goes. It's
And
really,
you can be surrounded by negative people
yep.
too. And when you're surrounded by people who are always so negative, like sometimes I just have to take a step back going, okay, and then you can go find that energy that you need. Because if you guys are poured out, you're not going to be able to do anything for anybody, including yourself. And you've got to put yourself first. And a lot of us are moms or dads or families or whatever. And what I've realized is we pour into everybody else and then we're depleted. And so just, I think we're all in this stage where we all get into that negativity or that stuck stage somehow. Nobody's immune to it. I mean, I'm looking at the notes right now, like Rachel's on here. She's brand new, by the way. Welcome, Rachel. She just got her license and she just joined us in the Houston area. But it's the same thing. You've got brand new agents around here, but you've got some really, really, really experienced agents that you're going to learn from us. And we have the same self-doubt sometimes, right? So you're not alone on an island. Or, oh, in Argentina. Sorry, Tomas. He's not in Brazil. See, I don't know where Tomas is. It's like, where's Waldo? It's going to be, where's Tomas? Like Spain or Argentina. So just showing up and plugging in and being around people that are elevating. We were in a mastermind yesterday, and I mean, we've got some amazing people that have been in a business a long time. I mean, the Heyday Group, Meredith Alderson's on here. She and her Compass team just came over. They did $100 million, right? And so when you start hearing what they're doing and some of the challenges that they have, you're like, okay, I'm not alone, and let's all help each other and elevate each other. So don't feel like you're on an island. You show up and plug in, especially in the new year. We're going to all help each other succeed, and you're in the best place. I mean, EXP is far above what every other brokerage is doing, and everything else to me is noise. And so I'm excited about that.
It is awesome, you guys. And so I put my contact information, and Kyle, I'm sorry, I direct message you. I put my contact info in the chat. You guys, I'm an agent with EXP. Been licensed since 2001. I've experienced some changes in our market, and I've been coaching full-time for over 13 years. I'm so happy to help any of you out. You can always text me, you can call me, you can email me, you can find me on social media. I'm pretty easy to find if you just Google, but I truly mean it. I'm here to support us. I want everyone, I believe whatever you want is possible. Whatever you want out of life, goal out of life, you can have. You just need the right people to help you get there sometimes. So I'm truly happy to help out any way I can. And then Elizabeth, if you don't mind, Elizabeth, as you know, is instrumental in getting Gene Frederick to EXP. And Gene Frederick and I have been business partners since 2009. Gene and I have partnered to offer coaching opportunities to anyone within his organization, which clearly Elizabeth is included in that. So we've got some great group coaching opportunities at substantially discounted pricing just for Gene's group, which you guys can have. I'll put the link in the chat box. You can go look at it, but we're starting a 6-week mindset and goal sprint in January on January 17. 6 weeks, 1 hour a week. It's about 150 pages of content over the course of the 6 weeks. It's a workbook. You'll do some work, and then we get a 1 hour group coaching call where we get to dig into whatever is going on in your world that you might need some more help with. That typically for our consumer is $597. For Gene's organization and for Elizabeth's, we're offering it at $247. So if you would like to dig a little bit deeper and set yourself up from a mindset perspective, come and join us. And then there's also some resources in there for you to help you with attraction and retention.
Very cool. And Tony, if you want to put any of that in the chat, or actually, if you'll send it to me,
yeah,
email me or send it to me, then what I'll do, because we're live streaming this in, and I will put it in the comments so everybody has access to it.
Perfect. I'll do that. And you guys, outside of that, I'm here as a resource. So I can't thank you, Elizabeth, enough for welcoming me into your organization. It's a pretty cool place to be. So I appreciate getting some time today. And like I said, I'm here if you need anything.
What are some things that you guys are stuck on? Like, be vulnerable here because we're all family. What are some things that going into the new year or even going into the rest of the year that's the narrative you're telling yourself that, you know, Tony can unpack or we can all share? And you're probably not alone in that. You guys are awfully quiet this morning, so I'm going to make you talk.
Tony, so going into the new year, I mean, I get the journaling thing and all that. Do you ever talk about production? How does it all integrate? Are you just mindset? Because at the end of the day, everybody has to pay the bills too, right?
Right.
So how do you meld the two together? And how do we think about that going into 2024?
Yeah, you can't think your way to a million. I wish you could, because I'd have lots of millions in my bank account. But Brian, it's a great question. It's the marriage of those two things. And, we tend to, as entrepreneurs, real estate owners, we tend to focus on do, right? And there's not this little machine in the back room that I can go and do an upgrade to that allows it to show up differently. It's the person that's running the machine, that's you. So it's got to be both. It's got to be both. If I'm just all action and strategies around actions, I'm going to see results, but I'm going to reach a limit or hit a ceiling because I've got some beliefs that maybe are keeping me from getting to that next level. So it's a combination of the two. So in our coaching practice, we do both. And a lot of it is just listening to the words that somebody might be saying because they don't even recognize they're experiencing either limiting belief or a doubt. So Brian, it's both. So my journaling, and I run ReThink coaching. So it's not just thinking it. I love the name ReThink, right? I can't just think to be successful. I've got to take action. So it's both. So journaling, and then I've got strategies. I hold myself accountable just like I do my clients to do things that make the business grow. It's a great question. What else, you guys? This is a cool time of year. A lot of reflection has probably happened as you wrote your business plans for 2024. And hopefully everybody's got one of those done. Did you have anything that popped up that you're like, God, I did that again? When am I going to stop doing that? Anybody have that come up where there are some really great ideas in your business plan that you just didn't quite get to implement?
I think that's one of the challenges that I face is going into a new year. I get so excited about all the things I want to do in a year. And of course, there's not time for everything. So for me, it's really dialing back, having too many goals, and really just focusing on a few main goals. Because
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to do too much, you're not going to be great at anything. And you get paralyzed by just all there is to do if there's too much on the list.
Yeah, Meredith, I think a lot of us get in that position where this is the cool thing about being an entrepreneur. You can do anything, right? You can do anything. And so we get a little seduced by that and we want to do everything. And so what I love to do is to look at what's my compelling future. At the end of the year, if I'm talking to myself on December 15, 2024, what is my compelling future? And I want to talk to myself as it's already done. Hey, I accomplished my production goals. I accomplished my income goal. It was an amazing year. And start looking at what's important. And then I start looking at the goals that I have in my head to say which one of those are going to drive me to my compelling future. And that helps me clear up some of the other goals that I've set for myself that could happen, but they don't deserve as much attention as the other ones. Does that help? Sitting with a compelling future is big.
Well, and taking a few step backs to go forward. I write up down a lot of things and goals. I don't really set goals so much. I do like vision boards, kind of a exercise, and I do it with my kids. By the way, that's super fun to do with your family, where everybody in January, we all do them, and I've got them all, and it's fun to look back. And so I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh. But what I realize is I think really, really, really big. And then I beat myself up when I'm like, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. What I had to do this year, though, is I had to take a few steps back and say, it's okay. I can't do everything, because to your point, Meredith, I mean, you're not going to do a whole bunch of things well. You got to figure out what's the most important. And I say this all the time. Like, somebody asked me the other day, how are things going? I was like, I've got a whole bunch of balls in the air. And right now I'm just trying to catch the glass ones. Right. So I don't like that position, because then I can't feel like I can breathe, and I don't feel like I'm being my best self. And so I've realized for 2024, there's a lot of things I want to do, and there's a lot of things I probably could do, but I have to step back and say, okay, what are the glass balls? What are the things that are most important to me personally in business? And let me do that. And if I don't get to some of these other things, that's okay. I'm not a failure. I didn't fail. I'm reprioritizing, and I'm figuring out where my path's going to lead. And I don't know where that is. The other thing that I always encourage people to is just eliminating words that I think cause negativity, right? For example, the word just. I hear agents all the time say, well, I'm just an agent. I just did this. I only did my first deal. I only did one. I'm like, oh my gosh, take that word out of your vocabulary. And when you do that, when you swap out those words, it changes your mindset, to Tony's point, right? We're not just an agent. We're doing a whole bunch of things. So I'm having to be cognizant of that, but I'm learning from other people. When I hear them doing that, I'm like, okay, Kyle, take that word out of your vocabulary, but it's a reminder to myself. So for 2024, I'm stepping back out of a few things to step forward into other things where I think I can make a bigger impact for me personally and professionally, and help other people as well.
That's awesome. And you know, Elizabeth, we in one of the courses we focus on one big goal, because a lot of times if you accomplish the biggest goal that you have, the others will happen. They fall into place a lot easier because that discipline or that tenacity you have towards the big goal allows the space for other things to happen. So I love that. I love the analogy of juggling balls and just focusing on the glass ones. And that is being strategic. So yeah, Meredith, just really sit with the most important things that are going to make the biggest impact. And I promise you the other stuff will come clear.
Meredith, I mean, look at what you've done. You brought your team over, but not everybody came over, right? So in some instances, people might say, well, you took a step back, you lost these people. Whereas the way I see it, you brought the most important people. So now you've kind of cleaned, not to say that they weren't worth anything, but you just kind of cleaned house and got everybody on the same page to move forward, and you're going to accomplish bigger things with the right people.
Yeah, no, I
Right?
feel that 100%. I see, I definitely live in a glass half full world. So I see all of that as opportunity. And I know in this business, you cannot live in negative space, or it will just take you down, and it will be a roadblock to you on every path. So for me, like, mindset is everything. So this all really resonates. But yeah, I see all of those, what you might call challenges or roadblocks, as opportunities, right? That wasn't my path. This is my new path, and it's opening up doors for us to do more or different.
That's awesome. And that leadership, and like to Elizabeth's point, sometimes when we get really congruent and honest with who we are and we lose some people in our life, it's okay. Because it's opened up the space to attract people that are more in alignment with who you are. And it's really cool when you make this decision on how you're going to show up in life and business, what shows up in your world, because you've eliminated the stuff that you don't want to be in partnership with or clients that you don't want to work with. And all of a sudden the right clients start to show up. So Meredith, I love that you're just in a really positive space about it.
2024 is going to be awesome, y'all. Like, I'm looking at all these faces and I'm so excited about what's going to happen. I mean, Phil's been here and we've been talking about the new year. What he's doing is amazing. AI is a big thing. Again, Atlanta people, whenever you guys see Phil, by the way, I'm going to pull in, we're going to do some events. So you're going to see more of Phil. But Atlanta people, go see Phil when he's there. But there's just so much, like Meredith said, opportunity. We're doing some cool stuff. 2023 was bumpy in a lot of ways, like Tony started with, but I think we all had to get through that. And so now it's like, okay, we did it. Take a deep breath. 2024, I'm excited. I think there's going to be so many cool things, and we're going to all experience growth in a lot of ways.
Agreed. I mean, it's whatever you choose to make it today. It really is. It's whatever you choose to make 2024 and tomorrow, and whatever it is that you're doing is what you're going to get. So let's have some fun. I mean, all indicators are 2024 is going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. Anything else? We have a few more minutes. Anything else you're stuck, or big goals or big dreams that you have for the year that you want to share?
Well, I'll talk. So for me, even though didn't meet my financial goal, for me, it was a mental goal that I hit. I sold my first luxury property. And for me, I've always wanted to be a luxury agent. And so now my mind is giving me the confidence to be like, okay, well, I'm a luxury agent now from here on for the rest of my career, because I've always wanted to be that. And so for me, 2023 was a really great year because it changed my mindset. So
that's awesome. Congratulations. Luxury is a fun place to be.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be in luxury.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's define fun.
Well, I mean, people are people no matter, excuse me,
Yeah.
no matter what price point, but just in general, that's just, yeah. I've always been a luxury person in my mind.
You fancy.
You are fancy that way. Awesome.
Yeah, congrats, Julia. That's really exciting. When you cross that threshold and you just know you can do something, it's like the sky's the limit.
Yeah, but I had to make myself, I had to push. It's like when we had our EXP when we launched, I'm like, I'm going to be a part of it. I'm going to join. And then like when I got back, I sold my first luxury property. So I know it's about how I think and all of that. So if anybody's struggling about getting over, well, I want to do this, I want to do it. Sometimes you just got to take the steps. Sometimes you got to pay the money, but you got to get to it. So.
You know, Julie, that's really cool that you're saying that because, and I know you so well, like I know you really, really well for many, many years. And I know a lot of the conversations that we've had, but you just said something right there. You're like, well, people are people, but you were stuck in fear for a long time on the luxury side because you didn't believe in yourself. And you're like, I don't know. I don't think I can. I mean, you did not believe in yourself. And then now that you kind of crossed over, now you're looking back going, oh my gosh, people are people. Just what you just said there is a different Julia than I know. I
Oh,
love
definitely.
that. I
Maybe
love that.
when I first joined EXP 5 years ago, when you drug me over, my question to Elizabeth was, do you think I can make $50,000 a year? And Elizabeth looked at me like, in her mind, probably like, Julia, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, you can. Like, there's a slight pause, but she's probably thinking, this girl needs help. So
was it 5 years ago? I think I've been trying to drag you over here for 8 years, but that's all right. Some people
I joined. No, I don't know.
You've been here with me from the beginning, Chickadee.
Like a year and a half after you joined. I don't know how long I've been here. 6 years.
Yeah.
I lose track of time. Sorry.
Because it flies by when you're having fun.
Y'all just keep rubbing it in.
Oh, Brian's bitter. He tells me every single day, why didn't you call me 15 years ago? I don't call people. But anyway, you're here now.
Tony, she
Brian,
needed.
it was all timing. It was all timing. You're like the best. So
Brad's in there in Atlanta. Brad was my team leader in Atlanta. He watched me for 7.5 years. And now look, now they're having the best year they've had. I love it. I mean, our family's all together. So, it's all timing. You don't know till you know. So, but congratulations on that. You're going to be doing bigger things in the new year. And now you've got that stumbling block that's been removed because you just said it. People are people. So anyway, I'm excited. Congrats on that.
It's big.
thanks, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I know I am a pain.
You are. Guys, she's been dragging me for a very long time. So she'll keep dragging you too till you realize that you can do what you want to do.
So Julia,
sometimes you have to believe in people more than they believe in themselves, and I have people that believe in me sometimes when I have that self-doubt, and so I'm just paying it forward. Now we're all doing big things together.
Julia, set that goal to make 50,000 a month or 50,000 a week.
Okay, now I have to breathe.
There you go.
Okay.
Think big. I mean, just don't worry about the how. All right. I think sometimes, Elizabeth, that's the thing that gets in our way the most is we have a vision of what we want, and then we get stuck in, well, how the heck am I going to get there?
Well, that's why I said I have to take action reactive. That's my thing. I sit on my thoughts too long.
Yep. So, don't get hung up in the how. Eventually we got to figure that piece out, but just enjoy the moment of creating the space that you want, like you did with luxury. And then we can piece the how together. But when you're really committed to that and you're thinking big and dreaming big, it's just amazing what shows up because you've allowed yourself to go there. So Julia, you're a great example of that. When you had can I make 50,000 a year? And now you've stepped into luxury. Anything is possible. So think big.
I'm a proud mother hen right now, Julia. Tony, you're amazing. This is so helpful, especially going into the holiday season, going into the new year. Y'all, this is our last huddle until 2024. Our first huddle will be, let me look, I don't even know who's on first. I think our first huddle will be probably the 5th. Let me work on that. The 5th. But we're all on the tribe. You guys all have the tribe chat. You have the workplace group. We want to use this a lot more because that's where everybody's plugging in. Let me know what topics. Let me know who you want to hear from. Let me know. I mean, we can get corporate in here. We can get all sorts of people in here. This is your meeting. What is the most valuable information that we could bring? Because I want to make this where everybody's showing up every single week. We've got a lot of big, talking to Tony about big plans. We've got a whole bunch of big plans where we're just going to elevate each other so we all win together, whatever that looks like for each of us. So let's make this your meetings. Let me know what you want to hear, or I want to hear more about this topic, or I want to hear more about AI, or I want to hear more about this. And we're going to bring in the right people and the experts that are just going to open up their playbook and we're all going to win. So let's think that through. It doesn't have to be before January, but we'll set up those meetings every single week. We're going to have more live in-person events all over the country. So keep an eye on that. And then, yeah, just have an amazing holiday season. Be present with your families, unplug, breathe, enjoy. And I'm just blessed to be in business with all of you. So if anybody has anything to add, awesome. If not, we'll just cut off a few minutes early.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Tony.
Elizabeth. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you,
Happy
Tony.
holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Happy
Elizabeth.
holidays.
Thank you.
Tony,
Happy
you're
holidays.
amazing. Thank
Thanks,
you for
Elizabeth.
plugging into us, Tony.
Appreciate you.
Bye, y'all.